And that's also the Erinsborough Football Club, where the Dingoes come and train. All the same grassy field. The single-storey building you see to the right here with the mirrored glass, does anybody recognise that? Someone said it then, that's the Erinsborough Hospital. But the Erinsborough Hospital itself is a multi-storey building, isn't it? What they do is they Photoshop a multi-storey building above this single-storey, use that as the physical entrance that the actors walk in and out of, the rest of it's Photoshopped. The actual building that they Photoshop over the top is an actual hospital here in Melbourne. It is the Austin Hospital in the northern suburbs. They just make it anywhere on it that says Austin, they turn it into Erinsborough Hospital. This driveway we're on at the moment, guys, coming in and out of the studio, this is the main road of Erinsborough. What they do with this, guys, is all the staff members' cars here, they just get them to drive back and forth along it, make it look nice and busy with all different cars. Simple as that, job's done. The audience entrance, down to the right-hand side of us here, guys. Now, there was never a live audience for Neighbours. This is from other shows that used to be filmed here. But put a couple of stickers on the doors there, guys. What do you got? There's the school. That was where, if you remember when there was the school fire, that was where Toadie got dragged out of. Just a couple of stickers on a door. Do you guys remember in that same episode as the fire when Paige got kidnapped? Yeah? This is where she got kidnapped from. You would have thought, with all the hustle and bustle around the school, they would have noticed someone getting kidnapped, wouldn't you? Have a look in front of us, guys. You got the Welcome to Erinsborough City Council sign. Do you guys want to jump out and get a photo with the sign? Yeah. Are you sure? You don't have to. That was a quick answer then. Yep. All right, guys, if you'd like to jump out and grab... One, two, three. Awesome. Thank you. You're welcome. Who's up next, guys? I promise I'll... van and picked the motorbike up to take it back to the mechanics. And as he was picking it up, putting it in the back of the van, he hurt himself. Do you guys remember that at all? A little bit? I got no idea why the hell he brought the van down. Why didn't he just push it back to the mechanics? Because here's Fitzgerald Motors, here's Grease Monkeys, here's the bric-a-brac shop, here's the Handy Woman, here's the only bus stop in Erinsborough. And I think it's appropriate that we pull up at the bus stop, don't you reckon? Yeah? Alright, so guys, I'll pull up here, I'll open up the door so you can jump on out, and head around, take some photos.
About 4 years. That was like about 7 years ago though, so just still clean out my locker, can't get rid of it. No, I still work here. I still work here at the moment. I came back about 2 years ago to do a director's attachment for the show, and I did that, hopefully doing another one soon. For last year I've been working as a digital producer on the series, so doing lots of bits and pieces. Actually should be writing an episode coming up as well.
Oh really?
Hey! So the only reason I'm working at Neighbours behind the screen is because you know, I was horribly unemployed as an actor. Yeah, so keeping busy, better than pulling beers or something for myself.
Which you did do for a while, didn't you?
Which I did do for a while. But yeah, does everyone still watch Neighbours?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Do you love it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Very good.
I was delighted when we got here and they're just exactly where we were when we left.
Oh yeah, so yeah, it's day in, day now. When I was on the show, it was 6 months behind Australia, and Australia was 3 months behind what we filmed, so it was 9 months from the day you filmed something to when it would come on air in the UK. So very, very different now. You guys have caught up by having all the episodes go out over Christmas. But yes. So have you been to the street yet?
That's next, man.
Oh, it's tiny.
Yeah, see, everything about Neighbours is little.
Oh. That's not true. My ego's quite big.
Oh, that's a good point.
So yeah, so Fitzgerald Motors, that used to be Lou's Mechanics.
Yeah.
You guys remember that one?
Yeah.
That used to be Dial a File.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Lou's Car Yard.
carpenter's cars or something.
What year?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember that.
It's a good thing one of us does then.
Before my time. Yeah, so you guys been watching D, have you? Not really D, hashtag D, not D.
I don't like that story.
You don't like it?
I can wait for it to finish.
I'll go tell them about it. Can't wait for it to finish.
I think it was so
So impossible.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's very polarizing. So what else, guys? You got any fun questions about what it's like to be on Neighbours?
Anything you've ever wanted to ask someone who's been on Neighbours, guys? Because you can't ask me that, but you can ask Ben.
I promise I was on the show, so
Is Kyle ever going to come back?
Kyle? Probably not. Kyle was... Well, that makes me feel better. He was only on 2 years ago.
Kyle Canning, do you know Sheila?
Who hasn't watched the show in more than 10 years? Do you remember Stingray though? I do, yeah. Legend.
Fishes.
I died, huh?
The fishes in your family.
Yes. I died. I had a brain aneurysm, which was pretty sad. Voted least memorable death on Neighbours history, which is good.
There's some more. There's
I don't know
actually.
who was voting.
I
But
actually cried.
You
Sorry?
I
cried.
actually cried.
you cried? Thanks
Yeah.
very much. It's like this. I was on the show. I died. Ratings.
So about that
It
ego.
also did that. It also did that. It was Neighbours ratings. I died. Then it moved to Channel 5. But
They're bringing more Rebecca's in, I see.
More fishes.
yes.
It's been,
Oh yes.
It's on
Five.
the internet now. You're
There's
allowed to talk
five. There's five. 5 new Rebecca's coming in.
Wow.
about it.
Which will be
Toadie's brother.
wait,
So is brother. The other brother.
4.
4.
Sorry,
I was gonna say it's
4 and a sister.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
what about that little pretend girl that's just come in? That's supposed
Pretend?
to be a pilot.
Oh, the daughter.
Yeah. She's going to stay until she's going to go off with that other mother.
She leaves and then comes back for a little bit. I think she's going to be.
I love your honesty.
She'll see that I'm really into it.
we all know where we stand. It's great.
I think she'll be around just a little bit.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Anything else, guys? Yes, mate.
I remember that Stingray had some fairly unusual insults for people.
Yeah. So
You
I couldn't.
Yeah, caretaker. Yeah, like my fiance is an Aussie. She doesn't believe me that that's a genuine Aussie word. So I wanted to check whether
So
that's something you made up.
my character, if you don't remember, would like to swear, and so obviously you can't swear at the time slot that we're at. So I had some made-up words, unfortunately, that the writers they all got together on a Friday afternoon, smoked a bit of weed, and then came up with some names. Just joking, of course. But yes, my character would call people a cake taker, which would be like a hockey puck. I think because puck was kind of like puck.
Yeah, we're all. There's no kids here. You're all good.
What else? Spig and Hufter.
That's. I was trying to remember. Yeah.
Just stupid stuff like that. It was good. But made the character nice and unique. That was lots of fun.
When I got to Australia, I thought people actually used those words.
Oh no, mate, you didn't get the customs. You were like,
Come on, you spig and hufter.
I went to my first trip to the UK. I was going. I'd left Neighbours this Friday. I'd stopped filming and I jumped on a plane on Saturday. Arrived in London on Sunday morning, I think, and I had a visa to do a pantomime for that Christmas. It was around November or something, and I didn't know you physically needed to have the visa on you. Because I was maybe 18. So I was like, yeah. I went to the customs and I was like, the woman was like, what are you here for? I'm like, oh, do some work. And she's like, oh, okay, you've got a visa. I'm like, yeah, got it. She's like, can I see it? And I'm like, don't have it. She's like, but you're here to work. And I'm like, yes, I am. And she's like, can I see your visa? I don't have it. That went on for a little bit. And then,
Sounds like a pantomime in itself.
so,
Where's your visa? It's behind you.
so she ushered me into this little box, which I sat in what felt like for maybe an hour. It was probably 10 minutes.
White latex gloves come out.
And then she came back and she was like, gave me these ones. And went up to her. She's like, let me get this straight. You're on Neighbours? And I was like, yes. She's like, on you go. Yes. It's the only time something like that ever went my way.
So, I love that story. That's good.
Have you heard that?
No, I haven't. You haven't said that one before. I like that. But guys, any other questions? Anything about being in Neighbours, or even any other stuff that Ben does with the behind-the-scenes stuff as well?
Oh yeah, so I did all the behind-the-scenes Neighbours. So my character died. They still called me 2 years ago and wanted to come back on the show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I came back for an online web series called Neighbours vs Zombies, which is 100% a real thing.
Has anyone seen it?
It was like an ode
Hilarious.
to The Walking Dead, and it was for a Halloween special, 2015. So they brought back 5 dead characters, and we terrorised the street and killed everyone. Outside of Neighbours continuity, obviously. And there is the hope to do another Halloween special this year. Hopefully something to do with time travel, which would be fun. So yeah, we do all that kind of stuff. Did anyone watch the Christmas episodes over Christmas? No? Didn't watch them? What was they about?
You mean the zombie one?
No, there was over Christmas. Obviously, Neighbours goes off air for 5 weeks, but there was 2-minute episodes every day over the break that were exclusively available online. We made those. That's right. Glad to see you guys all enjoyed them. But yeah, essentially, I am an unemployed actor. So if anyone would like to get like a little photo, that would make me feel really great about myself. Give me lots of confidence going into my next audition, which is. I have no idea.
When is it now?
Haven't heard from Adrian in a while, but
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
No worries.
Nice to meet you. I go there quite often. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
hello mate. How you going? Good, how are you? Ben, nice to meet you. Hey Mandy. Oh, hand up a button there.
You got the camera?
Hello. Ben. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? Whereabouts?
Everyone can still hear me, right, guys? No one's deaf. No reaction means yes. Okay, cool. Guys, I do have a couple of Ramsey Street signs here if anyone would like one for a photo. Got one with a pole, one without a pole. Just with the one with the pole, guys, watch out, it is top heavy. And it is also loose at the top, so I'm going to swing around and knock yourself out or anything like that, okay? But would anyone like to take some for a photo? Take that one. Anyone want this one? What I'll do, guys, I'll put it under the tree over here. If anyone wants to use it, you are more than welcome to take it. I'll be back in a second to help with photos and that, guys. I am just going to go and try and turn off that alarm in the bus first, okay? I'll be back soon. photo, guys. So you can keep taking photos with this if you'd like, guys, but I'll run through the houses for you as well. So we got the red brick one here. Who lives in this one nowadays? Therese? Yes, exactly. I should think about that for a second. I was like, yes, that's right. It was most well known as originally being Paul Robinson's house. He wanted to knock it down, turn it into a grocery store, but those plans fell through, so they decided to move into it. Can you imagine a grocery store in a street like this? It just really doesn't make sense, does it? Nowadays it's Therese's. This one here, ladies, who lives in this one nowadays? The Brennan brothers, the new house of Trouser, the one all the ladies want to go in and visit. I had, a couple of months ago, I had a 91-year-old lady on my bus. She pointed to that house and she goes, oh, that Mark. If he could just show up right now on that balcony in nothing but a towel. Actually, you know what? Forget the towel. It's like, oh God. Age is just a number, remember that, guys.
Yes, Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler's sulky. Most well known though as the original Ramsey house. So originally it was Max Ramsey's, then Madge lived in there, Charlene lived in there, Kylie Minogue, Harold lived in there. In fact, Charlene's very first episode, very first scene on Neighbours, she was trying to break in through the front window and Scott Robertson spotted her and she turned around and punched him. They're off to a great start, those two, aren't they? This one over here, guys, nowadays, is the Canning household, exactly. Most well known as the original Robinson house. So originally it was Helen Daniels, Jim Robertson, Scott Hall, Lucy and Julie. Big house, that one. This one here, guys, the Kennedy's house, pretty much most well known as the Kennedy's house as well, guys. Originally it was actually Des Clark's.
Oh, yeah.
You guys remember Des? Yeah, Des and Daphne?
Yeah.
Do you remember how they met? She was a stripper. Exactly. Very first episode of Neighbours ever, it was Des Clark's Bucks night. It was his bachelor party. He was getting married to a lady called Lorraine, and he had the party here. Shane Ramsey living over here. He hired a stripper for the night. Ended up being Daphne. Daphne came down, danced around. They all had a great time. Next morning, the place is an absolute mess inside. Des is in there trying to clean up. Daphne comes back over. She's left her watch somewhere inside. She's in there trying to clean it, trying to find it. In the meantime, Lorraine comes over as well. She's having second thoughts about marrying Des at this point, and they get into a bit of an argument about this. Right as Daphne, the stripper, walks out of the bedroom. Not the best look. So Lorraine storms out. She leaves Des, but leaves Des with the house, but also the mortgage to go with it. So he then has to find a way of making a little bit more money. So he decides to rent one of the rooms out in the house. Daphne hears about this, she moves in, romance blossoms between the two, they get married, Daphne opens a coffee shop, Daphne has a baby, Daphne dies. There's two things in there that are deadly to the characters. Number one, having a baby. Number two, getting married. One of those things happens, someone is going to die. I mean, have a look at Toadie. Toadie's been married 3 times. In his first marriage to Dee, all of an hour before they drove off a cliff. However, big mistake there, they never found the body. So she was bound to come back. I mean, you know, you go off into the water here, it's like a miracle. You're born again. Look at Harold. Harold got washed off the water and he came back again a few years later, didn't he? In his second marriage to Steph, the fake wedding, there was no real wedding there, so no one had to die. It was all safe. In his third marriage to Sonia, the wedding went fine, but at the reception, big gas explosion, Priya dies. Don't ever get married in Erinsborough, guys. It's a deadly place. You don't want to do that. But speaking of Toadie, guys, this house over here, Toadie's house. Pretty much most well known as Toadie's house as well. Sorry, what was that?
Sandy.
Yep. So, sorry?
What was Sandy?
What about it?
Toadie's wife.
Oh, Sonia. You talking about?
No, Sonia, Sandy.
Sandy.
Toadie married Sunday.
Before.
I don't remember Sandy.
No?
No. Don't remember that one.
one.
We'll get you up here. Do you want to talk? This one here though, but what's interesting about these two houses here, this one here and this house here, originally they weren't actually in it. Originally it was only these 4 houses here. But they wanted to start using the whole street, so they brought these 2 houses into it as well. And finally guys, this house here, nowadays is Lawrence, is the Turner household. Most well known though as the original, sorry, not original, it was Mrs. Mangles.
Oh, yeah.
The nosy neighbour, yeah, the neighbour from hell. Vivian Grey is the actress. But guys, continue taking photos, whatever photos you'd like. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go and start the bus up so the air conditioner kicks in before you guys jump on. And I'll get that all started. And then once we're all back on board, I'll do a little bit more talking about the street. And then we'll start to head back towards Melbourne, okay? Is that cool? Awesome. I'll leave this sign here if anyone wants it for the moment. I'll come back up and get it in a second. And there is also the little sign here if anyone wants it too. But I'll go start the bus up so the aircon kicks in. Yep, there you go.
a major span of the bridge collapsed. The design was substantially reworked to include the towers and supporting struts that weren't part of the original design. The rebuild took 8 years. Below your cabin to the southwest, you'll see the cranes and containers of the Port of Melbourne, the largest port for containerised cargo in the southern hemisphere. There are plans afoot to move the port facility to either Hastings in the southeast or, possibly, to somewhere near the Avalon Airport in the southwest. They're under canvas. They came in that great population surge that accompanied the gold rush. Between 1851 and 1868, a total of around 150,000 people came to Victoria seeking their fortune. Back then, immigrants came from all over the world, and many of these were Chinese. So it's no wonder that Melbourne today boasts one of the oldest Chinatowns outside mainland China. Around this time, Melbourne was the second largest city in the British Empire after London, and the wealthiest city per head of population in the world. A lot of the buildings and the infrastructure that we still rely on today were built during those heady days. The large open expanse of water a little to the left is Victoria Harbour. Originally a swamp, it was dug out by hand by thousands of labourers during the Great Depression between 1929 and 1932, when everyone's fortunes changed. To the north, the Tullamarine Freeway snakes its way to Melbourne Airport. Continue further in that direction, an hour and a half or so in a car, and you'll find yourself in what used to be Victoria's gold fields. Many of the towns north and northwest of Melbourne were kick-started by the wealth that was discovered in that region. Many of them boast impressive boom-style Victorian architecture, and today are full of cafes, restaurants, and galleries. Perfect for a day trip. Closer to the north, a little to the left of the cheese stick, lies Melbourne's famous Flemington Racecourse, home to the Melbourne Cup Carnival, and, in particular, the Melbourne Cup, one of the world's richest and most famous horse races. As you probably know, the Cup is the only horse race in the world responsible for a public holiday. Attendances at all of the major spring racing events are enormous. It's quite common for 3 or 4 of the major races to attract more than 100,000 punters and partygoers to each event.
There's the Etihad Stadium over there.
The land's flatness today, and the basalt, bluestone, that's strewn everywhere in Victoria's west and has been used extensively in Melbourne's buildings and paving. Beyond the Yuyangs lies another source of Victoria's and Australia's prosperity. For more than a century, Australia was one of the great wool-producing countries of the world. It used to be said that Australia rides on the sheep's back, and many of those sheep were grazed and shorn in Victoria's western districts. Closer in the southwest, you might see ships moored at the Naval Dockyard in Williamstown. Many of the Australian Navy's ships were built there and continue to be maintained there. Also in the same direction, in the closer southwest, lies Fisherman's Bend. For a long time it was home to a large part of Victoria's auto industry, General Motors Holden and Toyota in particular. Today, many of the roofs you see down there are on old factories and warehouses that will soon be redeveloped as urban housing. Around to the south, you'll see a large green wedge on the middle distance. That is Albert Park, and it's one of the many landmark parks that make Melbourne one of the greenest cities in the world. It is also the location of the Australian Formula One Grand Prix.
Oh, you can see the lake down there.
Oh, where was it? What was that? Race course.
The largest indoor sporting arena in Australia with a retractable roof. Melbourne is internationally famous for obsession with all forms of sport. In fact, in 2012, it was voted the leading sports city in the world. The list of sports and major sporting events hosted by Melbourne is legendary, from Formula One to Australian Open tennis. Further afield, it's impossible to ignore Melbourne's ever-growing central business district. New buildings seem to spring up every week. Melbourne is the fastest growing city in Australia and Australia's most popular tourist destination. One of the most popular starting points for visitors is the Queen Victoria Market, a little to the left of the CBD. It's the largest open-air market in the Southern Hemisphere and, with more than 7 million anticipated visits this year, a magnet for locals and visitors alike, always bustling with activity and genuine local colour. The city of Melbourne now has a permanent population of around more than 100,000. Only 20 years ago, it would have been a fraction of that number. City living is something that Melburnians have only taken to recently. It's all for the good though. The city is now always full of life. Melbourne is one of the world's great cafe and bar cities. They're open all hours. Melbourne is also famous for its shopping. Many major global retailers have recently opened in Melbourne, further adding to our already rich retail mix. But like anywhere else in the world, it's the uniquely local stores that really get visitors to the city excited. And there are thousands hidden away in our famous laneways and in refurbished period buildings. If you're lucky enough to be staying right in the city, there's no better place to be.
Standing up.
The great ocean.